Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Liberian Dream. My name is Leo Nupolu Johnson. I'm coming to you live from the beautiful, beautiful city of Orlando in Florida this afternoon. And I have on here with me a very special guest, Mr. Blige Innes of Tribeca Development Corporation. But I'll let Blige introduce himself briefly.
Thank you, Leo. Good afternoon or good evening to everyone, depending on where you are. My name is Blige Innes, and I am in the not so beautiful, not like Leo, not so beautiful state of Massachusetts right now. And glad to be here on this platform today to be able to discuss this important topic about what's happening back home.
Thank you, Blige. And for those of you who like listening to the music, the beautiful music that our team here can play, Mr. Dennis Jai and Mr. Anson and Sie, the song that we're just playing called Kapao, Kapao, Lekpele, is in my favorite language. And by the way, Blige, even though he basa me, he found himself stumbling in the Bellepico kingdom somehow also. So he's connected to this in somewhat. But the song just means, your come. It's a call to action. When I say Kapao, Kaku, Nueto, your come and let's build the land. There's a favorite line in the song that I like that says, and what that means is when you do the frisking or in the way people own the home, you might come back to your own home so we can build it too. It's so appropriate because we'll be talking about some of that today. I've dedicated a show today to the Liberian Learning Center project with some very exciting things that are coming up that we will be doing in Liberia. And I would like to start the premise by saying, for those of you who may not know what the project is, because I know a lot of people have been reaching out to me, many years ago, we started this dream of building a learning center in Liberia, one led by Liberians, envisioned by Liberians, and done for Liberians through an organization that I started called Empowerment Squared in Canada. And many years later, to give you the short version of it, this vision, this dream is becoming a reality. And the vision itself is looking at erecting the only purposely built public library in Liberia, a dedicated children's library, a small business incubation center, and also transforming the compound of what is now the Painesville City Hall today, because we're looking at even redoing the City Hall as well. And just so you know that this is not a far-fetched dream, as I speak to you, the foundation is almost complete. And we are working hard to ensure that this is done within the next 12 to 18 months as we work hard to do what we have to do. But today, I wanted to talk about something different. For a very long time in Liberia, we've focused on who can help us. What is our government? What is individuals? When you always hear a talk, the first thing we talk about, our international friends. We need the international community to come to our aid. We need this person to come to our aid. And that has led us to a place of almost feeling like we've got nothing of any value to ourselves. And this is where this project is coming from, to say, no, yes, we do need help. Who doesn't? Regardless of what you have, you need help. But we cannot neglect what we have and only start to look for what we don't have. What are we doing with what we already have? What is our diaspora? The Liberian diaspora is massive, whether it's in the US or Canada or in Europe and other places. But we've never been able to mobilize this diaspora to really feel the full value for what it can do in Liberia. We often reference remittances to Liberia, right? That's a big thing we go to all the time. But however, we've never mobilized. So with this Liberian Learning Center project, we're looking at the possibility of mobilizing the Liberian diaspora, because thus far, all of our donors, all of the funds that we've raised has mostly come from Canada, from Canadians, people who've never been to Liberia, who don't even know what Liberia looks like. And we don't want this project to end up being another project that the people funded for us. We want it to be something that we can say, this was our project, and this is something we ourselves contributed to as much as our partners and international people contributed and supported us as well. So before going any further, I would like for Blige, I'd like you to speak from your perspective as an individual, given that your company is the one actually building this project, bringing that dream to reality with Liberian hands. I want to talk about, what does this mean for you as an individual, as a Liberian, being able to beat our chest and say, this is a Liberian business, true, and we've only inspired a lot of other people to actually join us. So what does this mean for someone like yourself?
I mean, it's incredible, and it's heartwarming for someone like me who was educated primary school in Liberia before I left during the war. And I think one of the saddest things for me is to come back home to Liberia and see a lot of our educational institutions still the same, in the same condition. And I remember one of the first times I came back home to Liberia, I went to Gigi Roberts. I attended Gigi Roberts when I was young, and I went to Gigi Roberts, and my first grade teacher, is in the same classroom. The classroom practically looks the same way, and everything almost looks the same. And she said, "Oh, she was joking around." He said, "You can see nothing much has changed," and we laughed about it, but it was very sad. And I always thought in my mind, I said, I was young, I didn't go to high school at J.J. Roberts or anything like that. So, and I always said in my mind, I would love to one day be a part of a group to rebuild this school. I think this school needs a facelift. I think, it'll be terrible for me to come back here in another 5 years, 10 years, and this place looks exactly the same way. So, being a part of something like this that is innovative, that is new, that has Liberians at the forefront of it, is truly incredible, and it's exciting to me, because this is what development looks like. Development is not, we've come from years of war already, and it's time that things start to change. And unfortunately, we come back and we see the same things, especially when it comes to things that are educationally related. Psychologically, a lot of our classrooms, we can't expect our students to perform the way they need to perform, because the classrooms are dismal. They're not an inviting learning environment. The classrooms are dark. There's block walls everywhere, no creativity or anything like that. So being a part of this learning center, even though it's not a school, it's an educational facility that I think is really going to wake up young people. Is going to make a lot of young people excited about education, just to be there, to be able to pick up books, or to be able to access resources and other tools. For me, it's just so exciting to know that, I'm a product of the Liberian education system, and I am in the midst of this project, and I'm just excited to see it come to life. And aside from physically being a part of building it, want to see how I can be able to be a contributor as well, because I can't be building it and not say, okay, my resources were involved in building this as well.
Yeah, no, thank you, DJ. And it's interesting. So we'll be unveiling to you some exciting things that we're about to do in Monrovia. For those of you who are watching, please feel free to comment, let us know you're watching, and please also share your thoughts with us as well, so we'll be able to read them at some point. But what we're trying to do, DJ, for example, I will break this news here. Not a lot of people have heard it. We've been working with the Canadian library system very, very well. And what has happened is that we have gotten them to agree to adopt this project as the sister project. And in 2019, the CEO of the Hamilton Public Library System in Canada traveled with me to Liberia, actually, to express their seriousness. And now what they're looking at doing is using this facility as an opportunity to develop a national library system for Liberia. Now, what that means is they are able to use this facility to build all of the infrastructure that's needed, the systems that are needed, so that 2 years down the road, if we decided to do another one in Banga, for example, that would just connect to the already existing system. And here's the exciting news. Anything you are able to access in the public library system here in Canada, you will be able to access it digitally in the facility as well. Think about the world of opportunity that opens up. A friend of mine was just telling me the other day she was trying to apply for Canadian visa, and she couldn't download the PDF because the version of PDF they're using, she went from office to office in Liberia, but all the PDF versions were outdated. And PDF is very sensitive. When it's outdated, it wouldn't allow you to open a current. So she had to send it to the United States for someone to download it for her, save it in a different format, and then send it back to her to Liberia. But it is amazing. And here is the interesting thing. A lot of people have reached out to me from Liberia, BJ, and said to me, you guys, and just for those of you who are joining, just so you know, the building we are putting up right now is the mean building. It's just a little over 700,000 United States dollars. We spent close to 350K already to complete the entire foundation as we're out for the walls to go up. But here is the thing, BJ, that I want to talk about. A lot of Liberians have reached out to me and said, Leo, you guys have been doing this incredible job in the diaspora. Canadians have donated their money for this project that they've never seen or they've never been to. But we've never really seen you give Liberians in Liberia the opportunity, or Liberian in the diaspora, mobilizing them to give them the opportunity to contribute directly, because most of the fundraising has been targeted at others. And that struck me because I said, absolutely, that's true. So let's do something intentional. And what we've decided to do, and Anthony, if we have some of the images of the project, we can put it up, please, for people to see. But what we've been intentional about now is to say we're going to be doing a major fundraiser in Monrovia on April 30th. It's going to be at the Ministerial Complex. It's an open fundraiser. The entire community is invited. Tickets will be going on sale this week, actually, as of tomorrow. It's $50 per ticket, and then you can buy a table of 10 for like $800 US. But here's the interesting thing. I know a lot of you in the diaspora may be wondering, how do I contribute to something like that? You can sponsor 2 tickets for someone from your high school, 2 young people who may never have the opportunity to experience something like this because they cannot afford $50. You can sponsor 2 tickets for them to be able to go there. You can become a title sponsor. So what a title sponsor is, anybody who's able to contribute at the level of $500 and above, your name gets inscribed on our donor ward that will be constructed in the center itself in honor of Liberians who are actually contributing to this project in a significant way. And on Friday, we'll be having a private cocktail for those contributing at the $500 level and above, because we believe they deserve the right to have some intimate engagement about the project. So if you are in the diaspora, you can contribute at the $500 level if you're able to. If you want to know how to contribute, just reach out directly to me. The contact information will be up at the end of the show. But Bleja, I want us to talk a little bit. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about what does it mean for Liberians to walk by that building at some point and be able to beat their chest and say, my $10 went into that building. I am a part of that building. This was no magic that happened.
Yeah, absolutely, Leo. I think it's a sense of pride. There's patriotism in that, and I think to know that you contributed physically to development and you're able to see it go to work. There's a lot of times where people donate money to NGOs or donating money to different tangible things and they don't see the outcome of it. But I think especially, Painesville City Corporation, Painesville City Hall being located in such a strategic place for that community, consistently Liberians walk by and drive by that area. And I think for them to know that, hey, this is for Liberians, by Liberians, and they can say, hey, yes, I contributed to this historic development of my country in some way. It's a sense of pride that would never go away. For parents, it's something that they can brag about to their children. For their children, it's something that they can brag about to their friends to say, hey, me or my parents contributed to this in some way and we're benefiting from it. And I think not just contributing to it, but knowing that they have full access to something like this, because most of the nicer buildings in Liberia, the ordinary Liberian, they don't feel comfortable approaching those buildings, or without somebody looking at them funny, or without some security questioning them. This is a building that they can feel free to be able to say, yes, I contributed, but at the same time is as equally as mine as it is any other big man or big woman in this country, because again, this is for Liberians and by Liberians. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about this project.
Yeah, and what is also very, very important for me personally, I often say, is the fact that people will be asking the question, right? Oh, we've given money to things before in the past and we never saw the outcome. Or how do we even know you're credible to even be donating to this? So let me say this. Empowerment Square is a registered Canadian charity. We do all of our audited financials every year. So you can actually go back for the last 5 years on the Canadian government website to see our audited financials for the last 5 years as well. All of your donations, both in the United States and Canada, get tax deductible receipts. So if you're in the United States and you donate, let's say $500, you can get up to 65% of that money back at the end of the year when we issue. So the IRS has approved our fundraising initiative in the United States. You can get up to 65% back depending on your tax bracket. So let's say if you donated $500, depending on your tax bracket, you can get up to $350 back of the $500 that you donated at the end of the year once you can produce the tax deductible receipt. So from our standpoint, credibility is really not the issue. This project has been in the making for a long time. Bleja, you've had a chance to work with us now directly over the last few years to see some of the people that are involved in this project directly. But to another angle, I would also like to take it on is that beyond just building, Liberians have always said, and I've talked to a lot of Liberians, they've always said that, oh, we really haven't seen something tangible or something at the scale to which we can rally around. And to a large extent, that's true. Most of the time, there have been a lot of people doing incredible work. Don't get me wrong, in Liberia, incredible people. But most of the time, we haven't elevated it to the level that can mobilize Liberian and your resources behind it. So for me, I think this is a perfect opportunity to come to Liberians in the diaspora and say, here is something at the level of systems innovation, something that can fundamentally transform the country. And I want to make a point, and BJ, you can throw your piece on it when it comes to the government. So I joke people all the time. I say, Firestone came to our country and did a 99-year contract, right? And did what they have to do. Guess what? That same opportunity is existing for Liberians to also look for ways to sign a 99-year contract with the government to do positive things. So we came to Painesville where we said, we don't want this facility to be anywhere else. We want it to be somewhere very prominent. We want it on the compound of the Painesville City Hall. And credit to the mayors. 3 mayors now. We started with Letitia Reeves, we came to Sivette Gibson, and now we're with Mayor Pam Belcher Taylor. 2 national governments. We started under Madame Sirleaf, now we're under President Weah. And I would tell you today on the record, not one of them have stood in our way. If anything, they have all been very cooperative. And guess what? People will be wondering about the sustainability of this. So we build it as an enterprise, a social enterprise structure where we have a contract and an agreement with the Painesville City Corporation that we have access to that space for the facility to be on there for 99 years, for as long as it is used for this purpose to benefit our country, to benefit our nation, to benefit the citizens of Painesville and by and large, Liberia. So I want to support this because a lot of people ask me all the time, how will you manage to show the government will not be a problem for you to not get in your way? I haven't seen that. And I will be honest with you that in fact, I was shocked when we were able to consummate a 99-year agreement with the government saying that we can have access to this space for as long as we use it for this facility. I want to hear some of your take on that, BJ, because this is what we hear from Liberians all of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things I'm excited about is, I know that people consistently hear a lot of negative things about what's happening in Liberia, but there are a lot of positive, exciting things happening. And unfortunately, the negative always get blown up in the media, and the negative things are what Liberians are focusing on. There are a lot of Liberians who are out there in the diaspora who want to contribute to positive things happening. They don't have an opportunity to hear what's happening. So, one, I think it's very, very important for the media to be able to focus on the positive things that are happening in the country, something like this learning center, because this is monumental. This is news that I would like to jump on Facebook and see people discussing. This is news that I would like to see on all the social media platforms that's consistently being talked about and that's being broadcasted. And I think the fact that this is actually happening, this went from a dream of Empowerment Squared and the successive mayor to be able to see again that this was a project that went between 3 different mayors is an incredible thing. You don't see that in government often. You don't see the transition of one person starting a project and it being successive. So I think this is something that's showing that Liberians are taking back their country and are being intentional about the development of their country. It's not just lip service. It's not just talking. It's not just giving up. And I know, Leo, you always tell the story about how long you guys have talked about this project, has dreamed about this project, how long consistently the community and your partners have been working to bring this to fruition, and people laughed and said that this would never happen, and that said that this would be a joke. But now the examples are there, the tangible assets are there to show that it's happening, that their resources, the resources of donors is being put to work, and that this thing is going to come forth. So I think for Liberians, knowing that, hey, it's a new generation of Liberians who are out there who are intentional about the development of their country and are not just saying things to say things, but are actually about it, no matter how long it takes. That is going to happen. And I think that's what, again, makes this project incredible, that this is something that was talked about years ago, and people are actually seeing it happen now. So I think people can find pride in knowing that, hey, this is something that, again, we are going to put our support behind because it's actually happening, and that we know that there is a vision, there's a strategic path, and there's a strategic plan. I think, again, a lot of things that people donate to don't come to fruition because there are no strategic steps. There is no point of transparency, right? People will say, this is what we want to do, and then they'll never hear about it again. But I think the fact that we're consistently telling the community about what's happening, telling citizens about what's happening, showing them the progression, being open to invite people to the site to be able to see that, hey, this is a real site, is actually happening here. Those are all means and ways of having accountability. And I think that's one thing that a lot of projects and a lot of people in Liberia have lacked when connected to project where people have given their monies to. There's no form of accountability. And I think the accountability that, Empowerment Square and all of the partners attached to this project have is something that is new to Liberia, and is something that I think that people can find confidence in with what's being done with this project.
Yeah, so quite a few people have been asking me to post the Zelly account or the Cash App. So just so you know, because this stuff is government regulated and fundraising, we cannot do anything through Zelly account or Cash App information. You will have to go to the website directly. So we will put up the website. It's empowermentsquared.org. www. Our technical team will put up the link for you, empowermentsquared.org. Or even if you just Google Liberian Learning Center, or worst of all, please contact me directly, because, for example, when you donate, we need to report that donation to be able to issue the tax deductible receipt that you need. So it's not something we can do in any of those informal channels. It has to be done through the proper channel. Again, contact me directly. Like I said to all of you, we are looking for the first 50 people to give at the $500 level or above, and we've already hit the first 24. I will give you a story. I'm shocked. A young Liberian woman who's running her little business in North Carolina called me 3 days ago and informed me that she'll be donating $10,000. $10,000 to this effort. I'm breaking this news so that people can actually know. So our goal in Liberia is to raise $50,000 on April 30th at the Ministerial Complex. She's already kicked the ball rolling with the first $10,000 going from one donation. So again, I strongly believe there are Liberians out there who are able to do what they have to actually do if we give them the right incentive. In terms of the ticket sales for the dinner, the gala dinner that will be happening at the Ministerial Complex, like I said, if you are in the United States, please, you can purchase a ticket to sponsor your brother, your sister, or even at your local high school. You can sponsor 2 or 3 of your teachers. You can sponsor some of the students at the high school to get the experience of what this looks like, because this project goes beyond just the building we are putting up and the programs that we'll be running. This project actually we talk about mindset change in Liberia. This is an opportunity to start to show young people that somebody like BJ, somebody like myself, we're able to collaborate, come together, and build something like this that no one has ever seen in the country ever, as we've been here. I think this is a bigger testament more than the building that is just going up. I think we need to make sure all of the messages of inspiration are not being missed as we go along with this project. But BJ, I'd like to talk about how you and I met. Because Liberians have a way of thinking that, because the guy know each other before or whatever, that's how they connected. In fact, the person who connected is watching right now. So I would really like for you to just talk about the story, how I got to know BJ before even we gave BJ company the contract to build this facility.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's a saying, the right place at the right time. And, I think that's one thing I've been preaching to young Liberians as I've been back home, that you have to put yourself in places and situations and in environments where people are going to be able to meet you. People are going to be able to hear about what you're doing, and people are going to want to believe in you to be able to support what you're doing. And unfortunately, there are not a lot of platforms or avenues in Liberia where people who are doing amazing things and have amazing businesses can meet the right people. But as far as me, it was several years ago that I decided to look back home and transition back home to contribute in the construction space. And I was on a flight to on a flight back home to Liberia, and was sitting next to a friend on the plane, and we were just talking about progressive ideas for Liberia. We were outside of the pessimism on the plane of other Liberians laughing and joking about Liberia never changing, Liberia always being a big village. We were having progressive conversations. We were acknowledging the challenges in Liberia, but at the same time, we were being optimistic and looking forward. And and Adam, who is watching now, Adam was sitting behind us, and Adam chimed in on the conversation, was excited to hear about where we were talking about, and we got to know each other, and it was just a group of Liberian guys and ladies who were close to each other on that flight that just started having progressive conversations. And Adam heard about me running a construction company. My friend who was there, he heard what he was doing, and he told me about the project that he was coming back home for. And he said, "Oh, have you ever heard about the Liberian Learning Center?" I said, "No, I haven't." And that's how Adam said, "Hey, they're having an official groundbreaking ceremony. It would be great for you to come and meet Leo, the director for Empowerment Squared. Vice president's going to be there, and other prominent people are going to be there. It'd be great for you as a young Liberian to come there and rub some elbows." And I remember I got stuck in another meeting and missed that groundbreaking ceremony, unfortunately. But again, kudos to Adam. Adam followed up with me. He called me, reached out to me on WhatsApp and said, "Hey, we're in town. Can you still come and meet? I'm with Leo and some of the other partners from Canada." And that's how I got there. And we met. And there was no commitment at that point. We had no idea still about the project, but Leo invited us to have to be engaged with some of the stakeholder meetings that they were having with Rotary and some of the other young people. Leo invited us to be part of those meetings, and I attended, just sharing ideas and hearing the vision about the project and hearing what young Liberians wanted to see in this facility. And that's one thing that drew me to this project, that Leo and his team and Mark and all the other people connected to this project weren't just saying, "Hey, we want to come and build a library in Liberia. This is what we're giving you." They were asking the young people, the future of Liberia. They were asking them, "What do you want to see? What are elements that you want to see incorporated in this project?" And that was something that was mind-blowing for me, because you don't see a lot of that, even at highest levels of NGOs and bigger corporations that come into Liberia. They impose upon people what they think they need, versus the approach of saying, "Hey, what is it that you would like to see? What is important to you?" And those conversations were just amazing. And I wanted to know, as a young person, how I can contribute to being part of the project, even if it wasn't from a construction standpoint, how I could be a part of it, because it was something that was monumental and it was exciting for me. And and that's kind of how the relationship just started. And I think from a technical standpoint, Empowerment Square was doing research, trying to gather data, and it became difficult to be able to find the data and do the research without physically being on ground. And just my commitment and my company's commitment to wanting to just be excited about this project. We were sharing ideas, and I think one of the things that Empowerment Square discussed with us was just, this is not a typical project. It's not a typical construction project. You awarded the project and you move on. We're looking for a partnership. This is donor funds. This is funding that's going to be coming in over time. All the money is not there to give at once and say, "Go build it." So we're going to need someone who has flexibility to say, "How can you break the project up? How can you work with us strategically to find ways to be patient while the money's being raised to come in to make this thing happen?" And for us, that was exciting just to be a part of this monumental project. And I think that's how the relationship established over time, because we were invested in the partnership, invested in what was happening, and was willing to not have a typical contractor client relationship, but more so a partnership. Because again, who doesn't want to be a part of history, of being part of contributing to the first modern learning center in Liberia. So again, just being at the right place at the right time, having another young Liberian who was looking at us from a positive standpoint and wanting to be able to connect me. So again, if Adam would have never said, "Hey, come here, be at the right place at the right time and meet these people," or even follow up, this would have never happened. So that's basically the type of mindset and the type of atmosphere that we all need as Liberians, to say, how can we support each other? Who's doing what in the Liberian community that we can support and uplift this person? And then at the same time, you have an obligation to be able to deliver as well too. So somebody can promote you, but at the same time, you are obligated to be able to deliver, so that faith that person has in you isn't wasted faith at all. So I'm happy that we're at the point of where we are, and and just excited about this thing finally being done several months from now.
Yeah, no, thank you, DJ. And I know Adam Newon is watching. Adam Newon, shout out to you for being the expert connector there, because we take these things for granted, right? The ability for people to follow through, like you said, DJ. because it's very easy sometimes for us to just talk. Oh, I know BJ, yeah, that guy can do great work, and blah, blah, blah. And then we walk off. It takes real work for people to be able to kind of follow up, to say, no, I will make the connection. I will ensure that I provide some context so that you people connect. I know Amma Harris has joined us. She's been in and out. So Amma, if you're in, let us know so we can get you on here. I know you just joined us. But Amma Harris has been, I would say, our general on the ground. She's been marshaling all of the efforts locally, trying to get things moving. And even the fundraiser we're talking about, Amma is providing us the direct leadership in Liberia on the ground when it comes to the work that's going on. So she just joined us. I will let her introduce herself first, and then we can get her rolling right away. Amma, please, it's up to you. Can you introduce yourself? Amma, can you hear us?
Yes.
All right, you know LIB Orange Network or Lone Star Network, whichever one, right? So you don't blame Amma. Amma's trying to figure out how she can get the internet working here. So while she's figuring that out, so for those of you who are watching, like I said, we're trying to get the first 50 people, either in the diaspora or back in Liberia, that can contribute around $500 or more. And even if you can pay this $500 in one swoop, if you can pay in 2 installments or 3 installments, we are happy to work with you to make it happen. Amma is back. Let's see if Orange Network is working properly now. Amma, can you hear us?
How do you know it's orange?
I
you're
just
assuming
guessed.
it's orange?
I just took my guess. Orange is popular now, so.
I wouldn't say which network it is, but the network is erratic.
Okay. We're just saying to let you introduce yourself. I was just telling people to let you introduce yourself since you just joined me.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Amma Harris. Some people know me as Tukus Amma Harris. Tukus is my play name, but right now most people know me as Amma Harris. I work full-time, but in addition to what I do, several years ago, I established the Rosetta Steps Educational Foundation, which is a center that formulates programs for children and adults in low-income communities. Our focus is educational programs, reading and writing, but we also teach just about everything. We teach healthcare, we teach whatever it is that needs to be taught, whatever message that we feel will improve the lives of people in those kind of communities. We formulate those kind of programs and run them and tailor them to their needs. So several years ago, I would say, has it been 5 years, Leo? I'm also a member of the Rotary Club of Monrovia. And several years ago, I made a presentation at the Rotary Club. And somehow, like DJ, my interaction with Leo was accidental. So I made a presentation at the Rotary Club and invited members of the club to an adult literacy program that we're launching in Yucatan. And luckily for me, I would say I was blessed that Leo and Mark Stewart were present at the meeting. And they showed up. They showed up on a heavy rainfall. They showed up. I think they were very late. There was a lot of traffic across the bridge. This meeting was being held in Yucatan. They could not find their way. But I was very proud to see that these 2 strangers that had just met 2 days prior made it their business to come all the way out there and see what we were doing. And from then till now, it has been a collaboration of sorts between Empowerment Squared and Rosetta.
Looks like we lost Amma's audio there a little bit. Looks like she froze. Just when she'll get into the sweet part of the story. So
sorry,
she's back. Go ahead.
Of Empowerment Squared in Liberia. So that's who I am. That's what I do. And thank you, Leo, for having me on the show.
Absolutely, Amma. I will stick with you right there to talk a little bit about the significance of what we're trying to do on the 29th of April and on the 30th in Liberia in terms of the fundraiser we're trying to do for this project. And just before you came on, I was laying the premise with people that very often we've stayed so long in a place of hardship, in a place of always hustling in Liberia, that every time we think about something, we always think about who can give us something. Very few times have we really sat to ourselves and said, no, what do we have to do something for ourselves? Because if you stay so long in economic hardship, dealing with poverty, it gets to the point where almost it becomes a norm. That's how you operate. And with the Liberian Learning Center project, even though we've had all of our partners from Canada, donors, Rotary International that have been contributing money, just the significance of getting to the point to say, no, that is not enough. We need to give Liberians the opportunity. And to the credit of Liberians, a lot of Liberians have been reaching out to me and saying, we want an opportunity. We don't just want all of these people giving money to come and do this for us. We want an actual opportunity to be a part of this. And what does that mean, Amma, for someone like yourself who's helping us to put this event together? Go ahead.
Well, the first thing I would say here is that people think that Liberians do not rally around causes, but you know, Leo, that even with the Rosetta SEP's experience, it has been quite the contrary. Over the period of 6 years, we have grown from a small 3-bedroom house, and now we have a facility with as many as almost 18 classrooms, 284 students, and 22 persons employed. This has not been done by me working in, it has been done through the help and the assistance of Liberians. But it's just that a lot of times these kinds of activities are not highlighted, they are not promoted, and we tend to gravitate towards the negative rather than the positive. So if I can do that with such a small project in a smaller network, definitely it can be done. And what we need to realize is that people need to, you have to put your money where your mouth is. We cannot, as Liberians, continuously be critical of what our government is or isn't doing if we as private citizens ourselves are not exhausting our means of assisting the country to grow beyond and to grow from this post-war era. And let me tell you what this does. When you develop a habit of promoting growth, assisting others to grow, and investing in yourself, these habits remain with you, and eventually, if you get to serve in government or in any role, it becomes second nature. So some of the problems we're having now is that people in leadership have not inculcated these kind of habits. It might seem something small, but there are some people who will get on Facebook or get on social media or get into a space and spend an entire day being critical, but will not give $5 towards something that will solve the very problems that they complain about. So we are trying to get us to do different.
All right. Listen.
Even those, sorry, and even those who have been on the sidelines, like, this is a project, this is not going into Leo's pocket. What we're trying to build here is a space where, like this evening, a child at home can decide and say, look, I'm going to stay in this place. I'm going to read up on something. I'm going to learn something from. And people need places to learn. And that's what the Liberia Learning Center is going to be for the Kingsville community.
Thank you, Amma. And for those of you who are watching, just to remind you again, our goal in Liberia on April 30th is to raise $50,000. And like I said, we're looking for the first 25 people that can contribute at the $500 level and above. And someone made a salient point as we were talking that there are a lot of people who've been looking for opportunities to memorialize, sometimes their relatives or mentors or their families or people who had a significant impact on their lives. We live in the West. When we enter buildings, whether it's a library or a school or boardroom, you see all kinds of beautiful plaques on the wall in honor of people who have contributed to those institutions significantly. So one of the things we've done with this project is that we have built an opportunity for people to do what we call room sponsorship. Let's say if you wanted to memorialize your mother, where it goes anywhere from $5,000, it can go straight up to $200,000, where you can memorialize your relative or someone, your loved one, by contributing at any of the levels, depending on what room you want to memorialize them in. And when the building is constructed and you walk into that building, for as long as that room exists, forever, that recognition is in that room, that in honor, you can draft it yourself to come and in honor of your mother, your father, or whoever that is. This plaque has been erected in this building in honor of your significant contribution to education.
And Leo, I would just like to state here, and you and I have had a lot of conversations about this, and I would like to categorically say here that I have never lived in the western parts of the world, My entire existence has been in Africa and in West Africa particularly. And I say this, when you walk into universities abroad and you see John Brown building, most of those buildings, most of those facilities you see in those universities, those learning institutions are funded by families who realize that, look, my father, my grandfather had a passion for education, or maybe thanks to education or thanks to the community, thanks to our society, this has happened, and this is our way of giving back. You have families giving $500,000, millions of dollars. We're not asking for that kind of money because we understand the economy in which we operate. But even $200, $300 will go a long way. The thing with us is that we tend to not memorialize our people and we focus on the festivities of death, I mean, more than we can spend $30,000 on a funeral. But imagine if you were to have a plaque somewhere in a building where someone will walk in and say, well, who was Leo Johnson? Or who was Amma Harris, and someone will be able to tell their story. And that way, they live forever in the memories and in the lives of people. We have to leave legacies behind. And I think it's something we need to think about as a people. And I can right here say that there will be a contribution on behalf of my mother, who was very passionate about education. In as much as I run an organization, I have my own needs, but I recognize that what Leo is doing as a friend is important, and we need to spread out. And so we're asking people, please, to rethink. You can be, for example, you're a member of the Liberian Associations in the Americas. You can tax your members $50. You can contribute $5,000, $4,000. Those are amounts that once you spread it out into small sums, it's so easy to raise. And then you can be a part of this amazing process. I don't know if, Leo, you've shared photos of the project. I would like to state here that almost all of the funds to build the project has been raised, but there's always a need for more. So what we're saying here is we need Liberians to join on board. I mean, with this team that you have here, whether we raise the 50,000 or not, that building is going to go up. We've gone through so many hurdles. That building is going to go up. But we need you to join. We need you to have a stake. It feels so much better. Sorry.
We at least he has just struck, but at least I said it.
Yeah. So in case you're doubting, our building is going to have solar.
There you go.
We're making sure that's done. Yes, yeah. So from my end, that's just what I like to say. Let's leave legacies, let's leave things behind that people can see and children can come after us. So find a way to support the center.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. And Bleacher, someone like yourself, maybe you can speak about that too. Technically, you were supposed to be a contractor, somebody who comes, gets paid, do your job, deliver, and move on, right? But the personal sacrifices that have gone into this project in terms of even you yourself considering your own personal resources beyond your company's direct contribution to support this project. Why do you think this is important? Because we don't often think about it. We think you have to have tens of thousands of dollars before you can support something. And we are saying to you, we're providing an opportunity for everybody to contribute within the means that they can. What does this mean for you, BJ?
I mean, this is the ultimate example of patriotism. We can't say we love our country. We can't say we love Liberia. We want Liberia to change, and we're not contributing to that change. In some way. It's funny. One of my mentors told me something one time, and he says that a lot of people are confused that the foundation of success is competition. When the foundation of success is cooperation, it's not competition. And unfortunately, a lot of us as Liberians, we are so competitive against one another when we can be more successful when we bring hands together to cooperate and unify towards one particular goal. So oftentimes people feel like, oh, because this wasn't my organization, this wasn't my idea, I don't want to support it, and they're looking at it a different type of way. But if we say we love Liberia and something is contributing to the development of our country, it's contributing to the education of our children, it's something that we can all see and be proud of. We all have an obligation as citizens, as Liberians, to be able to contribute in whatever way possible. Like Alma said, whether it's your $10, whether it's your $20, is your $1,000, your $50,000, or whatever the case may be. This is essential. And if this mindset isn't a mindset that we have, then then our country doesn't go anywhere. As Liberians, if we don't have a mindset to say we must bring our resources together to be able to achieve goals, nothing happens. One of the biggest things that I saw, when I saw a lot of businesses were celebrating when the UN was still in Liberia, that people in real estate were making a lot of money from leasing spaces and all these different things. And I always used to ask myself the question, what happens when the UN leaves? Right? We stay here, Liberians remain, and this is what happens for our country. People can come in, foreign donors can come in and give us money, but at the end of the day, these people are going to leave. Their resources are going to leave. There are economic factors that happen in other countries that make them pour their resources. We see what's happening, with war in Ukraine and all these other countries. People have priorities at the end of the day that they're going to have to focus on. And at some point, we as Liberians have to say, when do we love ourselves? When do we love ourselves enough to support our own efforts, to contribute to the development of our country rather than talking? When do we take things into our own hands? When do we realize that we are an extension of the government as people, that it takes us to be able to push the government? And I think once we grasp this mindset, Liberia would develop, things will start to change. And it starts with something as little as this. It starts with something as little as contributing to a project like this, where we can say, hey, as Liberians, we mobilize, we dispel the myth that Liberians can't work together, can't support each other. Like Alma said, with what she's doing, it was Liberians who came together to support that cause. And I think, again, just on a larger scale for the Learning Center, that's what is going to be done. And that's what we're requesting, again, for this project, to say this is something for all of us. This is something for our children. This is something for our future generations that we can all be proud of, that's going to go down into the legacy of our nation.
And here's the interesting point. Whenever I'm on Facebook and people see some of the updates, like DJ, sometimes when you post updates from the construction site, hundreds of people come on, a great job, DJ, congratulations, you guys are doing so well. I don't see a lot of comments asking, how can we support, DJ? What can we do? And I think this is where we switch it around, because regardless of how little you have, there is always something you could be able to do to actually support. So someone asked about why are we not collaborating with other organizations? We actually are. I will name you some of our partners. Arman is on here, Rosetta Steps Education Center, the Rotary Club of Monrovia, the Painesville City Corporation, just the one that are in Liberia, the ones I'm naming. If you come to the Canadian side, you actually have a slew of organizations that we are collaborating with. This is actually a true collaborative project. It has been from the ground of the construction straight to the fundraising activities that we've talked about. There's no way Empowerment Square by itself or Leo Johnson would have been able to pull any of this off if it wasn't for the multiple layers of collaboration from Tribe Buchanan, from Rosetta Steps. And those collaborations go beyond institutions. Sometimes it is the individuals themselves in those institutions that are going above and beyond to do what their institutions cannot do. Those of you who are asking how you can support, like I said, because we have an agreement with the IRS and the tax authorities in this country, we cannot do Cash App or Zelle. You have to go to the website and make your donation directly, because we'll receive your information. We have to issue you tax receipts by law, so that at the end of the year, when you go to do your taxes, you can get up to 65% of that money back. But we also need to report it to the rightful authorities, whether in the US or Canada, that yes, this person said it donated to charity. It was actually a legitimate and bona fide charity that it came to with the record-keeping system. So I will encourage you.
Is the link to the website?
Yeah, it was actually up. It was up here already. Anthony put it there. Anthony, you can put the link back up. And the opportunity also provides you to see more about the project also, beyond what we are just saying. The link has been posted again. Anthony just posted up, www.empowermentsquare.org. You can contact myself directly, or any one of the people you see on here, whether BJ, whether Alma. You can inbox us on Facebook directly also to get more information. But we will close, our last segment will close on the event itself in Monrovia again, since we'll have Alma to talk about how are the ways you can support the events directly in Monrovia to help us raise $50,000. But before I do that, can we read some of the comments? let me make sure we don't ignore our viewers today who are interacting with us. Is it possible for us to read some of the comments that we're hearing from people? Because sometimes there are very valuable questions that come. William Jean said, Leo, very interesting topic. Thank you, William. Appreciate it. Emmanuel Jackson said, watching from Boston. Thanks, Emmanuel, for joining us. We hope you can support the project. Stephen Keita says, watching from Worcester, Massachusetts. That's BJ's backyard. So I hope you can contact BJ and see how you're able to support the project as well. John Nass said, the Rosetta Steps Learning Center is working to improve conditions and provide a reading and educational safe haven. Tuku Amaharis is the funder. As you are posting your comment, I don't think you realized Tuku was coming on. So to tell you the power of collaboration, later on you saw that Tuku was part of this as well. Bobby E. Wright says, self-reliance is great. It's always good to build your own institutions. As Sankara said, in the hand that feeds you, controls you. We can keep going. Tuku, Adam O'Newan says, the underground hours and work put into this before its birth is incredible. Thanks, Leo, Empowerment Square, and all its partners. Thank you, Adam, for joining us as well. And thanks for your continual support to this project. Emmanuel Jackson said, Leo, please post the Zelly account. Like I said, go to the website. This stuff, that official business, we can do it through any one of those informal stuff. We have to do it directly. It's easy. You can use your debit card. You can use your credit card. And it's also secured. So because the system that has been built on the website is secure, you can be assured that your information is also secure. And Focus on Liberia also posted the link again. empowermentsquared.org, or even if you just Google Empowerment Squared or Google the Liberian Learning Center, we rank very top on the Google ranking list there. Francis C. Wilson say, let me suggest a big ticket sales page. There are people in the diaspora whose parents or grandparents were buried on the disgrace that is now Central Street today. I am sure they would like to memorialize their parents or other loved ones by having their names engraved on the walls of this center at the top dollar levels. Francis, it looks like you're someone who can help us. Can you reach out to me, please, or else I will inbox you? If you can help us connect with more people, you can help us sell more tickets. We are more than happy and open to anybody who's able to support us, because some people out there have great marketing skills that can support us. Please reach out. We will be happy to engage with you as to how we can work together. Augustine Coty says, how are you collaborating with other organizations in Liberia to achieve the greater goal of poverty eradication? So, Augustine, I just said, for example, the Rotary Club of Monrovia is our fiduciary partner on the ground. Bleacher will tell you many times he has to work with them directly to figure out how we even move funds. Rotary International and Rotary Club also are putting in a lot of money. Bleacher, Tri-Buchanan Development Corporation, which is a Liberian construction company, is leading the building effort of this facility, because tomorrow when something breaks down, we don't want to send for engineers to come from Canada or United States to go do it. We want to ensure our own people down the street are capable of repairing what broke down. Adam Lewan says, thanks to you, Leo, and Empowerment Square, BJ, and Tri-Buchanan. I think that's what you meant. Thank you as well. I think are those all of our comments for now? Yeah, we will stop. Are there more comments? Okay. Are there more comments? Before we kind of transition to our last segment. Hashimi Famula says, so Leo, how can I support? I'm in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Hashimi, beyond what I said, after here, I will message you, I will inbox you. I will go back to the comments and I'll privately inbox you so we can work things out from there. And any one of you who want to support as well, please let me know, even just in the comments. We can go back to the comments and make sure we reach out to you individually as well so that things don't fall through the cracks. Dr. Edison Pajibo from Ghana says, I'm watching Comrade Leo. You have my support regarding curricular and structure issues. Thanks so much for the effort. Thank you so much, Dr. Pajibo. Adam Oniwa again said, kudos to all of you, our partners and supporters who are excited and prepared to make necessary sacrifices to see such a gift coming to our country. Thanks, Adam. So I'll switch to our last segment here as we wrap up to you, Bleacher, and to you, Ama, as well. And I want us to focus on the event here as the last thing we leave with people. So the event is in twofold, or the events are in twofold. The first one, like I said, is a private luncheon or cocktail for people who will be contributing at the $500 level and above. So if you're one of those people who really wants to get intimate with this project, who wants your name to be inscribed on our donor wall of Liberians who contributed to this project significantly, you can give at the minimum level of $500 and above. If you want to arrange to pay it in 2 installments or in 1 installment, please reach out. We can work all of those out in the background as to how to process the payment itself. Now, that is not the only stopping point. For other Liberians who may not be able to contribute at $500, can contribute at any amount. We welcome any amount, $1, $5, $10, any amount is wholeheartedly welcome. And what we're going to do is we'll be celebrating all of our people, our community overall for supporting this on April 30th at the Ministerial Complex. We'll be putting on a beautiful evening of saying thank you to all those who contribute, whether it's $500 or whether it's $5. At the end of the day, each of those contributions are just as significant, because the $5 that come from someone who only had $10 and decided to contribute $5 is just as mighty and powerful as the person who had $1,000 and decided to contribute $500. So we want you to know that there is room for every single person to contribute. It will be up to you to decide at what level you are actually able to contribute. So let me stop here and let Amma talk a little bit from her perspective about the events itself in Monrovia, since she's on the ground.
Okay. So in fact, the reason I was late is because I was just having a meeting with one of, someone who's assisting with the organization. Like Leo said, we're going to have two events. The first one is an intimate one for people who are contributing a minimum of $500 towards the construction of the center. And like he also emphasized, it does not have to be cashed down. It can be a commitment that can be broken down. And we'll also have stakeholders like people from the ministry, the diplomatic corps. We are selling this project. So that intimate event is slated for the 29th of April in Monrovia. On Saturday, the 30th of April, at the Ministerial Complex, there will be a grand event. At this event, we'll be able to showcase the project, the progress that has already been made with the project. We'll also be able to showcase some of the programs and the beneficiaries of programs that Empowerment Squared has already begun to sponsor in Liberia. And it will be a time of celebration, a time where people who feel that they can support this project. We have tickets that will be on sale. The tickets should be arriving in Liberia. Leo, is it on Tuesday or Wednesday? Okay.
No, sorry,
So
I said Tuesday or Wednesday, the tickets will be in country.
Okay, later. So we'll be reaching out to people and people who are interested. I'm on Facebook. My name is Tukus Ama Harris. If you're in the diaspora, you can always purchase and have a family member or a loved one attend on your behalf. Or you can encourage people in Monrovia, to purchase and attend. Let's get together for education. Let's get together for progress. Let's get together for growth. And let's get together and help to build Liberia and support the education of our children in our nation.
Thank you so much, Amma. And BJ, I will give it up to you also to just kind of give us your own final words here before we kind of wrap up.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of this, for anyone seeing this, I think sharing it amongst your network is important. I think, again, I said this earlier, there are a lot of Liberians who are out there who want to see positive things that are happening in the country, who want to support positive things that are happening in the country. And, if you're anyone watching this right now and if there's someone who you feel is passionate about education, is passionate about seeing this positivity that's happening in the country, by all means, please share it with those individuals. This is a collective effort. As I said, so anytime any one of you who are contributors to this project, if you're on ground, you want to come to the site and walk through the grounds and see what's happening from a construction standpoint, I'm available to be able to make that open and make that available to anyone who wants to be a part of that. And, again, this is just an exciting time, for all of us to bring our hands together to say, hey, we did this together as Liberians. We were able to bring this to fruition as Liberians. And then this opens up the doors for many other amazing things to happen in our country. So again, just urging everyone that, hey, this is not something that's going into someone's pocket or benefiting an individual, but this is something that's benefiting our nation. This is something that's going to stand the test of time. I think all of us want to be.
Okay, let's hope Bleacher didn't bring the internet from West Africa with him to the US, because we just lost him. We just lost him there too. Another comment from Nyata Stella Herring says, that I am definitely in. I will send a financial contribution and get my partners at Monrovia Reads and Liberia Thinks involved. Thank you so much, Miata. You have been a staunch supporter of everything
Thank you so
Liberia.
much, Miata.
Yeah, I can attest to that personally. I know how many things you and them support around the place. So thank you for always standing in the gap.
And Leo, one thing that would be exciting is to have a counter so that we see the progress that is being made as these contributions are coming in, and we
Yeah.
can celebrate when we hit our 50,000 mark. So that will be, I hope that will be available on the website.
Yeah, we can do that. We can get the guys to build
Yes,
a counter on the
definitely.
website. So as contributions are hitting, we're just getting the counter to go up so people can celebrate as we all go along. But an
Yeah.
important point Bleacher just made, those of you who are in the diaspora contributing and that don't live in Liberia, or if you're in Liberia and you want to tour the construction site, to have an in-person experience of what's happening at the construction site, please hit me up, hit Amma up, hit DJ up, anyone. We can make that arrangement for you to come. Because some people, they say seeing and believing, right? Some of us like to see to believe. So we have the opportunity for you to see. It's not somewhere beyond God back. It's right on the Queensville City Hall compound. You can go there. You can get to see the construction site. You can talk to the construction team on the ground as well. Again, I want to say an exciting part of this is also the fact that ALC, LEC, been giving Amma hard time Liberia. We're building a solar plant with this project to experiment the possibility of having solar energy as a primary source of power in Liberia. So there are all kinds of exciting things. And then one last one I would mention would be the power of what can happen when we start to do for ourselves at the level of this kind of excellence, what it does for our partners. So because of what we've been able to do over the years, we now have the Hamilton Public Library System asking us, how can we support you guys to help you build a national library system? How can we support you guys to help you connect your system with ours so that when you start to run your facility, you have access to all the wealth of resources that we also have access to? I want to thank all of you. Those of you that are watching, those of you that have committed to support, please, I will reach out to you so we can define what that support means for you or how you can support. And those of you who may not have financial means to support and you have other ideas and ways that you can support, maybe you could help us sell a ticket. Maybe you could help us talk to somebody who you think can support. So it's not one of those that got pockets, deep pockets that can give us money. For those of you who may not be able to give us money and you have other ideas as to ways that you can support, whether it's helping us sell tickets, whether it's knowing someone that you think would be great for us to talk to that could support, please reach out. Don't just limit it to, oh, since I don't have money to support, but I have a great idea, I don't think they would care. No, we want to hear every idea, every suggestion that can help us move forward. Amma, any final words from you to wrap up?
I'd like to say thanks to everyone that has tuned in. Like Leo has said, let's spread this good word. You know, just how we spread the bad news, let's spread this good news. And we have to do something about education in this country. Leo, you know, I'm passionate about it. The statistics are bad. They are horrible. And we cannot continuously blame people for things that they weren't taught or opportunities that we have not given them, you know, especially those of us or you who live in diaspora. You see the level of investment that these countries put into education, and it's no surprise at the output that they get. If Liberia needs to sit amongst the League of Nations as a proud nation, if we need to get back to our post-war status, we cannot circumvent or underplay the importance of exposing and educating our populace. And when I say education, is at all levels, and that is what this center will do. We run so many different programs out of this center. This center will provide a space. It will also serve as an incubation space for businesses. It will also serve as a space where teachers can have research. I don't know if Leo spoke about that. All the resources in the center is going to be linked to the Library of Hamilton. So what we're giving Liberians in Liberia is access to what people in Hamilton, Canada have access to, and you can imagine how that is. In fact, just the other day I was speaking to someone, and there are so many brilliant ideas coming from left and right. And this lady just said, look, if the center is up and running, there's an organization that can, what they do is that all the textbooks that you are using in your local universities, they can actually put them online and have them available. Imagine if our students no longer have to be standing outside of AME and Stella Maris photocopying chapter 25 from our textbook, but instead they can just access these things on their cell phones, you know. So these are all the brilliant ideas that are coming forth, but the center needs to serve as an incubator. You need a space from which these ideas can grow. So please, we're begging you, Emmy, and we're begging not for ourselves. We're begging for the people of Liberia. We're begging for those children you see passing on the road with a marking on top of their head. We're trying to expose them to the value of education. And the only way we can do that if we have multiple spaces like these. This is just a one-off. I told you, this is Liberia Learning Center 1. There will be several others that this team and this group, even if we don't build ourselves, will help to support. And then in the next years, we can assure you that you will see a transformation in education in Liberia.
And thank you for those of you who already inboxed me, letting me know that you'll be joining the $500 list. Thank you so much. I'll be contacting you right here as well. I know you guys didn't want to put your comments on the comment link, so you inbox me directly. I will be inboxing you right after the live. Those of you who are already committed in my inbox, so we got a few messages that have come through that will be committing to the $500 list. So thank you. I'll be contacting you after here. And just so you know, major part of this project has already been funded. Like the solar piece we are talking about, the Rotary International Foundation is funding up to $100,000 to $150,000 just for the solar piece exclusively. So again, we are presenting Liberians a winning formula, and we know, I argue with people all the time when they say Liberians don't support. I said it's not true. It depends what you're putting before Liberians that makes you say they're not supporting. So we're putting something before you. Like Dennis Jao always say, I will close on my Pele parable. The people say, if black people know that God, they can cool talk. Like your collectory hand, the people can see before they call cool to your farm. So we not show you our own collectory hand too, by putting all of this together, all this effort. So we begging you, our Liberian people, you please call cool to our farm. All of you can. Let me make everything happen. I will be in Monrovia myself on the 29th and 30th. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you who will show up. Like I said, a young Liberian woman, Amma, before you come on, called me 2 days ago from North Carolina, small business, young woman in her 30s. She's going to be donating $10,000 US cash to the project. So
that's why we need our counter on our website so that we
the counter will be coming up very soon so people can see as the numbers are going up. So thank you, everybody. Yep. Thank you, everyone. It's been a beautiful evening, night, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, of spending some time with you. And I look forward to receiving those inbox messages. Inbox Amma as well. You'll be able to get her on Facebook Messenger as well. Thank you, everyone. And it's been a great time. We look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our home. Liberia people. Liberia, all we want. Liberia, all we want. Liberia, Liberia. Oh, Liberia. Liberia, 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 Liberia.